everybody? Is everybody awake? Does everyone have their nice hot cup of coffee? Or if you're in a time zone where it's time to break out the bourbon or the whiskey, just whatever you got, water, coffee, tea, orange juice, milk, bourbon. I know you can't see me yet, but poof, there I am. Hi, how are we doing? It's nice to see you, as I'm sure you think it's nice to see me now. It's that day of the week that we all love to call FTG Thursday, and I've been scouring the internets for people we could say FTG to, and that's how it goes. And so hopefully I won't disappoint today, but I've got a lot of tabs open already, and there's a whole bunch that I haven't even gotten to click yet. So I'm going to play the intro and see if I can get a few more open and be ready to go once the intro is done. Watch the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is March 11th, Thursday, and you know what Thursday means at the Morning Night Live. If you've been here a few times, it's FTG Thursday, where we just we pick some personalities and give them the old FTG. And if you don't know what FTG is, I'm sure if you ask in the chat, someone will explain it to you, because that's what all my regulars do. They help you out. If you need something, there is somebody in my chat who will help you, who will do things for you that nobody else would do for you. Okay, this is getting weird. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? The weekend's almost here, and I was trying to determine if I had any major plans for the weekend. And other than my last basketball game, I'm going to coach my last basketball game on Saturday with my lovely ninth grade team that I coach at a high school here in the Twin Cities. And never say never, but it may be the last basketball game I coach after doing this for, I don't know, 30 years. I've coached for a long time. Not always basketball, but I've been coaching youth sports since 1986, and I think I'm going to hang up the whistle and the clipboard and kind of devote some more time to doing this. Talked to some friends yesterday, a friend and a new friend yesterday, and we've got some plans. We're going to try to expand what we do here a little bit and expand a couple other projects, and I'm looking forward to doing that big time. I mean, it's something that I'm really excited about. Also, I'm going to spend more time working on bringing out more content for you guys, and really think about how we can grow and make this a fun place for even more people. And you guys have been a great help with that, as far as sharing the show and doing all that kinds of stuff. But now I'm like, well, I really enjoy doing this, and I've been figuring that out more and more. Of course, it's hard. It would be really hard to do something for 2 years and not like it. But my point is, because I really like doing this, I want to really make a go at making the channel grow, making the content get better, increasing different times of content. Oh, and more singing. Yes, Jesse Leon, exactly. More singing from the dog. But anyway, before we get started today. So look for some new things coming up. Like I said, I'm going to change my, I'm going to revamp the Proverbs for Modern Times series that I started already, but I'm like, I just realized I think I'm going to take that in a tiny bit different direction. And then also, like I said, with the help of some people, hopefully find ways to make this really get this ball really rolling downhill and creating one of those giant snowballs. You know what I mean? What the hell am I talking about? Anyway, let's say good morning to everybody, because I know how to do that. And I gotta wait a minute. I gotta do this. Oh, do this too. Let me reset my my Streamlabs Superstar of the Day, because I always forget to do that, and I did remember this time. Now, good. No one's now sponsors. If you're a Streamlabs sponsor today, you could be the Streamlabs Superstar donor of the day. All right, let's say hi. Let's say hi to everybody. First in the chat today was Keenan, who gets the bell. Whoa. There we go. You gotta hit the button to make it work. Welcome. Also, good morning, Becca Fairley, who was also the first person to share the stream out this morning, I believe. Did I see that right? I know I saw. Yeah, it was Becca. Becca was the first one to share the stream. By the way, I gotta start setting some numbers goals too. So if you guys can help me with some of this stuff, one of the things I really, really, really would like to do is to grow the channel. And so if you know anybody who watches this kind of stuff, just recommend the channel. You don't necessarily have to share every stream. You don't have to do all that. Just, say, hey, have you ever watched Dawg Knight? And maybe they'll come over here too. I'd love to double my audience over the next 2 months. Okay. As far as the number of subscribers and people who watch the show. And then over the next 6 months, I think I want to try to grow this channel to about, I don't know what a realistic goal is. Whether it's realistic or not, I think 10,000 would be a great number to hit over the next 6 months. And so, like I said, a lot of it's going to be content driven, me making sure that now that I have my basketball time that I'm going to be using for my YouTube time to make smaller bits, cutting up segments, and making smaller pieces easier for people to see. If when I do that, I hope that you guys would be so kind as to like, share, and so on and so forth. If I am worthy of it. If I'm not worthy of it, I get it. But I think I'm okay. I really do. All right, let's continue saying good morning, everybody. Good morning, Thomas Cleaver, who went back to bed, I think, and says, hey, everybody, my name is Dawg Knight. No, Thomas, your name is not Dawg Knight. But so when you watch the replay, Thomas, welcome back, because I want to make sure I say hi. Also, good morning to Richo, who is back, thanks to someone reminded me that I had to fix a couple technical things, and now Rich is back in the chat. Good morning. Good morning, Maddie. How you doing? Good morning, Somnambule Nation, who also shared the show out this morning. I appreciate that. And then also Uncle Bad Touch is in the house. Come on, man. We know who you are, Uncle Bad Touch. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Also, good morning to, let's see, Higgs in the house, my new favorite Florida resident. Well, I should say my favorite Florida couple, but Hig is our Florida man in the chat. Good morning. Good morning also, Green Badger Outdoors. Good morning. I got to scroll down. Mr. Yes, who retracted, so the kind of Mr. No, but Mr. Yes is back. Good. Hello to you too. Good morning. Let's see. Jesse Leon, how you doing? Austin Sand is in the house. Jaded Emerald's in the house. Good morning to you both. Good morning to, I said Maddie, right? I'm assuming Maddie and Ronan are out there in the background. Who's out first? What's out second? I don't know. Is out third. Yeah. Thank you for catching that. I didn't know if anyone would understand the name of the stream. I mean, that was a play on that, but also just also interested to see if any of these three governors is gonna be out of a job first. You gonna lose your job, catch his dance. You gonna lose your job, catch his dance. You gonna lose your job. I think that's funny. Good morning to Ryan Deos, watching live today. Nice to have you back. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Good morning to James PFP's in the Hizzo. Who else is here? Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian, is here. How you doing? Let's see. Who else I got? Y'all have been active this morning. Good morning, Zach Osborne, who also shared the show, retweeted the show. MC is in the house. Hammer time. Nice to have you back. Good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Bastard Beast. Good morning, Mike T, our our contrarian in the chat. Welcome to you, sir. Good morning also to Gunfox61, the ever-loving administrator of the Discord server. Always check out the server and the news stuff going on in there. He's a prolific poster of news, as well as many of you are starting to do more of that also. Good morning, Justin Anderson. Nice to have you back. Atheist Icons in the house. Good morning to Moon-Based Radio, Judafine. I'm trying here. Who else is here? Lord Stanhope. Good morning to Renee Mayette. What's happening? Wow, there's a lot of people here. Don Keedick, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man's in the house. Zablaze in the house. Advocatus Diaboli's in the house. Cynical Lindsay's in the house. Sean DW's in the house. Good morning. Let's see, who do we got here? I think that's it. Scotty Dubs. Hello, how you doing? All right, so that's the gang is all here. During the show, if you like what we do, or even if you don't like what we do, Mike, you can still hit the like button and make sure that this channel keeps rolling. Also, if you're watching in the replay, please leave a comment in the comment section. Or even if you're not watching the replay, if you're watching live, come back later and put a comment in the comment section. And also, any news story that we cover in this show, as you know, I put a link, a one-tab link in the description down below after the show each day. If you need to go back and check out some of the articles that we covered, you can certainly find those there. Right now, it just says after the show, as I just saved that. All right. Well, let's get into it. It is FTG Thursday. As you know, and in the chat, someone will tell you what that means if you're not sure. And thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you, MC. Thank you, Zach Osborne. And thank you. Oh, Mr. Scott. Did you do it twice? Oh, Mr. Scott, MC. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for sharing on the show. Also, Cynical Lindsay, Maddie, Somnambule Nation, and Becca Fairley, who have all shared this out on Twitter, and you can share it through the link down there, that little arrow. You can share it out whatever social media you want to put it on. But thanks to y'all for doing that. And also you can follow me on Twitter, Minds Gab Parler, or Cloud Hub if you need notifications on the daily. And then I am also very active on Twitter for the most part, if you just can't get enough of the dog. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, the Ranting Monkey UFO debate tonight. Yeah. For those of you who follow Ranting Monkey, our favorite, I don't know if I should call him Monkey Troll, but he's been after me a couple times too. Should be interesting. UFO, I don't even know if UFO is officially a he or not, but UFO is a fascinating character, and so that's it tonight at 8:00 on the Ranting Monkey channel. So anyway, let's get into this. Now, me living in the Twin Cities, I get this news, and this happened on Saturday, and why it doesn't make national news, I'm just curious. You know, have you noticed there hasn't been a whole lot of news on the George Floyd trial or area, which started this week. Now, I mean, there's been a little bit out there. They were still working on jury selection, which they're having a really difficult time. But the one piece of news before I get into some of the FTG stuff is this one, that I did not find out till today, that someone was there. So they have one of these, they call it the George Floyd Memorial Autonomous Zone. Although it's funny because the local news isn't describing that way, but they're calling the George Floyd Autonomous Zone, where they've blocked it off. They're not letting police there. They're not letting emergency services come in there. Well, unfortunately, somebody was killed in that zone on Saturday, and I did not know about this. The only reason I knew about it is I found someone talking about it on Twitter. And I live here. Of course, I don't follow the local news as closely as I probably should, since I have a focus on national news. But so one dead in a shooting near the George Floyd Memorial. One person is dead, another's hurt. after a shooting Saturday night near the George Floyd Square in South Minneapolis. That's interesting. They call it the George Floyd Square. It's not really called that. But anyway, according to Minneapolis Police spokesman John Elder, officers responded to a shot spotter activation at 38th Street East and Chicago Avenue South. Police also received a report that 2 people had been shot and were being carried to the barricades at the edge of the autonomous zone. Now, you notice you're not hearing a whole lot about this on the national news, the George Floyd autonomous zone where they have it blocked off. There was a reporter the other day, and I'll see if I can find it on Twitter, a reporter from Miami who was filming, talking about this autonomous zone, and he was outside the zone with his camera ported toward the zone, his back to it, and he was just talking about what's going on with the George Floyd trial. And a couple of dickbags, Antifa types dressed in black bloc types, came up and started threatening him, saying, you need to move on. This is, or something very bad's going to happen here. And he's like, well, I'm not in the zone. I'm outside the zone. He says, well, your cameras are pointed this way. And so anyway, and I was thinking to myself, haven't we been having a whole lot of talk about insurrection, sedition, that kind of stuff? Now, granted, this is just a couple city block area of one major city in the United States, but still, they're saying that they are not part of the United States. You are now leaving the United States to be in the George Floyd autonomous zone. And now somebody has been murdered in the George Floyd autonomous zone. That did not take long, because I don't think this was just set up last week. Anyway, by the time the officers got to the scene, the victims had already been taken to the hospital. Elder said the responding officers were met with interference upon arrival. Police were told a victim had gone to Hennepin County Medical Center and later died. Elder said the deceased victim is believed to be a man in his 30s. While police received reports that 2 people had been shot, only 1 victim had been located so far. Preliminary investigation indicates that the victim had gotten into an argument with the suspect that escalated to gunfire. The suspect fled the scene in what was described as a light cream-colored 2005 to 2016 model Chevy Suburban, and then they're asking for information. But if you look at the signs around the autonomous zone, well, they say no cops are snitches, so I don't know that they're going to be able to necessarily solve this particular mystery of the ending of this poor person. But I certainly will update you as I can. I'm going to start paying a lot more attention to local news, because again, I'm not really getting much of the news from the national media, although they are going to be televising this trial. I don't have a lot of hope for this trial, though. I just feel like it's a complete no-win situation, that no matter what happens in this trial, there's going to be problems in the city that I live, and I just hope it's I hope there's some leaders out there that say, wait a minute, let's not do this. We're not accomplishing anything. But I'm not let's just put it this way. I'm not going to be investing in any I was going to say, I was trying to find a way to make this something about investing in GameStop, treating this like investing in GameStop, because you're going to lose your ass either way, you bet. Anyway, so let's move on. Before that, good morning, Furry Kitten, who's lurking in the background. Hello, Tyler F. Who else should I? Jaded Emerald, I think I said already. If not, good morning, Jaded Emerald. Good morning, Chef James. Nice to have you here. Hope you enjoy the show. Let's get into the topic of the day, though, because it is FTG Thursday. First, if you already didn't know, Oh, did you see where they had a woman on camera sitting behind a table, and the comment were so bad they had to put a curtain on the camera facing side? No, I did not see that. But I've been thinking that I might actually go down there myself, and just kind of check it out. We did. I don't know if I got to look at exactly where this is. They said 25th in Chicago. What'd they say in this article, real quick? This was in the 38th Street in Chicago, and that's right around where George Floyd died. I don't know if I want to say actively killed anymore, but it is where he died, and it is where I feel that Chauvin was negligent in how he handled George Floyd. I will continue to say that. The DA should just hand over the cops involved in the GFAZ. Oh, I see, and let some restorative justice. The DA should just hand over the cops involved. I'm not sure what you mean there, Chef James. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm catching what you mean there. Come on, man. It's a shooty but peaceful protest. Okay. Anyway, good morning, Grill and Pirate Pete, by the way. And good morning, Anna Lynn. Nice to see you in the chat. All right. Let's get into today's FTGs. And of course, the easiest one, the title today, Who's Out First, is referencing three governors. Obviously, as you see from the thumbnail, Governor Cuomo obviously is in the hot seat. Governor Gretchen Whitman. I keep saying Whitman? What the hell's her name? Gretchen Whitmer? I always say Whitler. I got that from that stupid sign when they had the protest in Michigan and they were calling her Gretchen Whitler. Okay, Gretchen Whitmer and also Governor Gavin Newsom are all in the thumbnail because they're all in the hot seat right now. Although I kind of think the current news about Governor Cuomo, even though it keeps getting worse and worse, I don't know why I feel like that's being orchestrated more than anything, and it's just a way to get the attention off the fact that he killed lots of grandmas and grandpas, right? But anyway, a sixth woman has accused Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment, and the human events staff asked why hasn't he been canceled yet. I don't think that's the purpose of this. I think it's just to get the attention off the dead grandmas, right? Anyway, the Love Gov, they're calling him, can run from his accusations, but he certainly can't hide. A sixth woman accused New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of sexual harassment on Tuesday, while the scandal-enveloped politician again denied any wrongdoing. Cuomo said he was unaware of the latest allegation made by an aide who claims he touched her inappropriately last year while they were working at the executive mansion, according to the New York Daily News. As I said last week, this is very simple. I never touched anyone inappropriately, he said during a call with reporters. As I said last week, I never made any inappropriate advances. As I said last week, no one ever told me at the time I made them feel uncomfortable. Now, go get your shine box. Anyway, obviously there are people who've said after the fact they felt uncomfortable. No one told me at the time, he added. The unnamed accuser, a member of the executive chamber staff, she's a chamber staff, is the sixth woman to speak out with allegations. 5 other women, including 4 who worked for Cuomo, have publicly accused him of sexual harassment or inappropriate behavior. P-Dog been listening to Monkey too much. I have, haven't I? Then there you go. Already in the middle of a separate scandal involving the coronavirus nursing home deaths in New York, Cuomo's faced several calls from both sides of the aisle to step down, but he has refused. There is no way I resign, he said on Sunday, adding that it would be anti-democratic. Well, the people of California have been finding a way around that anti-democratic thing. We'll get to that in a second. Cuomo's allegations come amidst the explosive cancel culture facing our country. Oh, well, except he's not being canceled. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with good old Governor Cuomo. Now, I said more than one of these governors in the hot seat. Well, Gretchen Whitmer, I keep calling her that. Gretchen Whitmer's Michigan State Health Department is refusing to release nursing home COVID death data still, in spite of the fact that one of the counties in Michigan, one of the district attorney for, I can't remember which county it was, has said they might be pressing charges against Governor Whitmer, or it would be possible if perhaps people came forward with complaints and brought information as far as, here's the thing. So apparently because of HIPAA rules, the district attorney can't dig into health records, but if the relatives of deceased people decided to supply them, then he might be able to press some charges against Governor Whitmer. Fascinating. But here, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services is covering up state data to show the extent of devastation from Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer's repeated orders last year, which forced COVID-stricken patients into nursing homes. Now, if you remember, the difference between Governor Whitmer doing this and Governor Cuomo doing this is Governor Cuomo sent patients that were already nursing home patients who left the hospital or left the nursing home with COVID to come back with COVID. Whitmer put just willy-nilly patients in COVID patients in the nursing homes that weren't necessarily even elderly. Whitmer signed an executive order on April 15th demanding long-term care facilities, quote, must not prohibit admission or readmission of a resident based on COVID-19 testing requirements or results, and renewed the policy several times until it was rescinded in September. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo passed a similar order last year and engaged in a cover-up, which has left the governor in the fight for his political life against calls for impeachment. But at least they have a distraction in New York. Gretchen Whitmer does not have a similar distraction. Good morning, Gamer Valine. Nice to see you in the chat. I just saw you there. So Whitmer now faces potential criminal charges of her own, appears to be engaging in a cover-up as her administration heads to court to keep state death data on nursing homes hidden from public view. What was it they said back in the age of Tricky Dick Nixon? It's not the crime, it's the cover-up that gets you in trouble. On Tuesday, the Mackinac Center Legal Foundation filed a lawsuit on behalf of Michigan Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist Charlie the Duff to force the MDHSS to comply with a Freedom of Information Act request to release data on nursing homes. Given the recent nursing home policy failures in other states, the need for transparency has become even more critical, Holly Wetzel, a spokeswoman for the Mackinac Center, told the Federalist. We are disappointed in the consistent lack of transparency demonstrated by the governor's administration and hope that both MDHSS and Governor Whitmer bring clarity by voluntarily providing information we are seeking. So anyway, so now there's pressure on her also to fess up and let the data be seen, which is needed. Okay, I'm going to answer the question. Is this going to affect these governors? In a minute. Let's go to Gavin Newsom, though. Hang on a second. Oh, that's right. Andrew Cuomo's mom has backed his refusal to resign. Fantastic. But let's go to Gavin Newsom now. So he's also having an issue because, as you know, Gavin Newsom is in a recall battle right now, and now they needed 1.5 million signatures, right? And in order to make sure they had enough legitimate signatures that they couldn't go back and said, well, they don't have enough legitimate signatures, they said they set a goal of 1.9 million signatures for the recall. Well, now they have over 2 million signatures. California Governor Gavin Newsom gave his State of the State address last night and decided he wasn't giving his opponents and advocates for his recall enough ammunition. So he obliged them by choosing to frame his campaign for equity. Remember, when you hear the word equity, run. Equity is a question of not going back to normal when the pandemic ends because normal accepts inequity. Is he talking about a reset or something? What is he talking about here? He's telling people that things will not return to normal after what they've been through is not a way to win friends and influence voters. It is, in fact, another reason to sign the recall petition and vote the incompetent governor out of office. From the Associated Press, quote, the governor further explains his comment that normal accepts inequity. Yeah, because people are different. By elaborating that inequity was the reason Latinos were dying from COVID at a higher rate than any other racial or ethnic group in the state, why the poor wages of essential workers are not enough to live on, and why the state has seen mothers leave the workforce in dramatic numbers. So that's the AP quote. The reason those wages are not enough to live on is that your housing policies make it too expensive to live anywhere else in your state. And it could be those mothers are leaving the workforce because your buddies at the teachers union refuse to go back to work so the schools can open. Dumbass. Those two issues, housing and costs and school closings, are what have people most upset at Newsom, and he's not helping his cause by any deflecting attention from the real problems. Needless to say, Newsom's opponents are lining up to take him on. One challenger, the former Republican mayor of San Diego, Kevin Faulconer, can't wait to rumble. Quote, what we've had again was one more word salad and a lot of rhetoric, Faulconer said of the address. It's really, unfortunately, in California, we have a governor that is botching the basics. That's why you're seeing this recall continue to grow with so much strength. Now, here's the thing, too. Just like I really don't necessarily blame, I don't blame the people that are people dying from the pandemic on politicians, unless politicians do things that directly cause more suffering and death, which Newsom, Cuomo, Whitler, I know it's Whitmer, Scott, and whatever the dude's name from New Jersey, all sent sick people into places where there are vulnerable people, i.e. nursing homes. And in Cuomo's case, he also sent them into care facilities for disabled people. We've known, the one thing we knew at the very beginning, the one thing that even Sean Hannity, who they say denied, they said had COVID denial, even Sean Hannity back in a year ago today, were saying that the elderly and people with underlying conditions were the most vulnerable. So why would you send people with this disease into populations that are vulnerable? They did it. They all did it. So anyway, according to Fox News, Faulconer said he believes the recall and possible election of a new governor will help bring the state together. This recall is going to happen, Faulconer said. We are going to have an election in California, and it's going to be the opportunity to bring our state together, get us back on track, and get us back doing the things we should be doing, like opening our schools and not having them remain closed. I'm looking forward to being that governor and bring our state back together. Anyway, and Newsom has demonstrated an inability to grasp the needs of Californians and continues to promote policies that neither make sense nor mitigate the effects of the pandemic. California won't return to normal until Newsom is safely in political retirement. Now, let's ask a question in the chat. real quick before I go on, because I make this statement in my title. Who's out first? I asked the question. And so let's talk about this in the chat a little bit. Do you believe, or who do you believe, if any, of these three governors will be out first? Andrew Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, or Gretchen Whitmer? I said her name right. Or none of them will, because they're Democrats. I should put that. In fact, not only am I gonna ask you here, by the way, FTG to all of them, right? FTG, Cuomo, FTG, Whitler, I'm gonna say Whitler, and FTG, Newsom. All three of them. Who do you think is going to be out who will be extracted from their position first, or resign first, or none of the above? I have the feeling that they are so insulated in their states by politics that, well, particularly regardless of the fact that there is a recall effort on Newsom, I'm not convinced that the broader California voter roll, whatever, will get rid of him. I can see possibly, and Cuomo's the machine there. I think it's mostly a distraction, especially the number of people coming with the sexual harassment claims. He's not going to leave because of that. And then as far as Whitler, I don't know. I don't know that they're actually going to prosecute her for anything. So I don't think any of them. But if you think any of them are going to be out first, who would you say? Justin, FTG, and I was thinking. By the way, I was curious when I use the term FTG, because it's F that guy or F that gal or F that group. Just F them. I'm wondering, do I need to change that term? I was trying to think to make it more. I was laughing with Lady Boomer last night. I said, I wonder if I should change that term to be more gender neutral. Like FTA, is in that ass wipe or whatever. So anyway, Marty not one. Due to water main break happened, and 80,000 mail-in ballots were found. That'll happen in the California election. Oh no, they're counting ballots in the recall, and the water main broke, and now there's 80,000 ballots that just happened to float in on the river of water. Hey, F that grifter too. F that garbage. Julie Coles, how are you? Welcome to the show. I didn't see you here earlier, but I'm glad you're here. F that grifter, F that garbage. Sure, that works too. Sometimes it's a grifter. Sometimes, whatever. FTMF. Yes, that's more gender neutral. Although, do you have a tendency to call women MFer? I just don't know. But yeah, see, my wife said that, Justin. We all said arsehole. Yeah, my wife said, if you can use that one because everybody has one. F that gonorrhea. The votes were piped in. Yes, I don't know. Anyway, so now I did laugh when I saw this article regarding Governor Cuomo. Where is it here? Hang on a second here. Oh no, did I close it? Here's Gretchen Whitmer. There's that. Oh, here it is. So I know everyone was wondering what Andrew Cuomo's mom thought, and so apparently she's chimed in on his travails. Good morning, Snoopy. How you doing? Andrew Cuomo's mommy rides to the embattled governor's defense and backs his refusal to resign. Love Gov mom weighs in. Are they calling him the Love Gov? This is the second article I've seen Love Gov. That's hilarious. Anyway, she weighs in on nursing home death scandal, sex pest allegations. Quote, I don't like what he's going through. Governor Andrew Cuomo's, a.k.a. the Butcher of Albany, is under increasing pressure to resign as state authorities investigate him for undercounting COVID-related deaths in nursing homes and for being an alleged sex pest who harasses women. At least his mom still supports him. Matilda Cuomo, widow of former New York Governor Mario Cuomo, made her first public comments on the ongoing scandal earlier this week. I've always had the utmost admiration for Andrew, and I still do. My other son's an asswipe, however. No, I don't think she said that, really. The governor's mommy told Albany Times-Union, he is my son, and I don't like what he's going through. Okay, what the bloody hell did they interview her for? Gee, duh, Mom. No, you know what? I'm sure she's just saying, F that. FTG, right? She said FTG. What? Wait a minute. What's it? Mike T. Okay, let's hold up a second. Michael T. What's up with the just major non sequitur? Did you go away for a while and didn't come back and just randomly type some shit into my chat? What the bloody hell are you talking about? Okay, now begin. Please do not take this as me not wanting you here. You are absolutely welcome to be here, and I enjoy the banter. But what the hell are you talking about? So, do depressed Trump supporters seriously believe there will be a civil war here soon? No! Where are you getting this from? Do you? Oh my God! You don't. And I'm not okay. Blood pressure down. Take a sip. No, Michael. No. Okay, you're just trolling. No, Michael, nobody cares. It's, you know what? No, we're going to suffer through a year and a half of this, and then we'll probably get the House and Senate back in 2 years, despite the fact that Democrats are trying to completely make it a system in which anybody can put out anything out there. But that ain't going to work because the stupid H.R. 1 bill that they passed in the House will probably be found mostly unconstitutional because, you know what? States have control over their own elections. So there you go. I'm good. All right. Talk about a non sequitur, dude. What the hell? Some Trump supporter in your chat mentioned there would be a civil war. Who mentioned there would be a civil war? The only civil war that is going on is the idiots who keep rioting after protests. Okay? And okay, let me get out of here. Anyway, so Cuomo's mom. Let's get back to Cuomo's mom. There are so many parts of it that are unconstitutional, and I guarantee the court will tell you about it when we get there. It's a crap bill with clearly unconstitutional measures in it. But let's get. This is FTG day, so maybe we'll talk about HR 1 again tomorrow and tell you there's sorts of things in it that are unconstitutional because. Anyway, let's go back to this. Hello, Fight for Your Rights, by the way. What's up? Oh Oh, Moonbase Radio, how you doing? Yes, Blue Anon is in the chat. Yes, Michael is clearly Blue Anon. Okay, anyway. The Cuomo matriarch did not specifically address the numerous allegations of sexual harassment against her son, but defended the defiant governor's refusal to resign. Put the article back up here. I tell Andrew to continue doing his job as governor, she said. He's a problem solver who gets things done for the people of New York. Well, certainly he has lowered the pension cost of the state of New York, if you know what I mean. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. Anyway, if you really want to know what she thinks, the article will be in the tabs. Let's see. I had another article about Gavin Newsom. Oh, yeah, this is just officially they have gotten the 2 million signatures. Katie Crimes of the California Globe reports far more than the 1.4 million signatures needed to qualify for a recall on the ballot. A full 1.6 million signatures were collected entirely by volunteers, and according to organizer Orrin Hately, 31.5% of the signers were other than Republicans. As the recall effort surges, Democrats turn up the volume against it. Someone here says right-wing Republicans in California are trying to recall Gavin Newsom for the crime of telling people to wear masks and for listening to scientists during COVID. This is tweeted Senator Bernie Sanders. Although, like I said, 31% are not Republicans, so it'll be interesting. The economy will continue to improve if we open up the economy. That's okay. You're just telling me. Anyway, there's a lot more on that, on why Newsom's there. Let's get into this. Now, this is interesting, and again, it's Breitbart, so it's biased to the very biased to the right, like a lot of the sources I use. But this one, Erica Joy Baker, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's latest hire, as well as has a well-documented history of anti-law enforcement posts, including one in which she told activists in a recently deleted post, "If the cops kill me, burn every cop precinct to the ground." Oh, she's a joy. The DCCC announced Baker's addition to the committee as the chief technology officer in a press release on Monday. Representative Sean Patrick Maloney, Democrat of New York, chair of the DCCC, described Baker and other additions as, quote, seasoned operatives who know what it takes to win. In a statement, Baker listed her goal as helping Democratic House members maintain a strong Democratic majority in 2022. The DCC has a history of enlisting controversial figures who have espoused anti-law enforcement sentiments in the past, as Breitbart News detailed. Baker is no exception, as her social media history is filled with posts containing anti-police statements and sentiments, some of which have been deleted. The now deleted tweet dated September 24, 2020, Baker instructed rioters to burn down police precincts in the event of her untimely death at the hand of police officers, who she years prior referred to as a modern-day slave patrol. Yeah, I've seen some of her tweets. I used to actually follow her, and she's let's just say she's a little spicy on Twitter, and I guess that's just kind of the norm nowadays, I guess. A lot of these people who get appointed to different things have passed that on social media that you go, but I hate to look. If she said something shitty on Twitter, fine, highlight it. Unlike when it's someone on the right, though, I don't think that she should be disqualified. I just think it should be well known that that's her thing. Real quick, thank you, Circa Zero, with the double deuce. And Circa Zero, not only are you the first sponsor of the show today,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you very, very much for the very generous donation today. Whitmer just paid, Circa Zero says, Whitmer just paid off her Secretary of Health $155,000 and a non-disclosure agreement. Whitmer was also the head of the Biden presidential campaign, so is protected, but Michigan is trying to recall her. I didn't realize they had a recall there. Now, that's I know that she's getting a great deal of criticism, and part of her legislature, I think one of the houses of the legislature is Republican controlled, and she's been losing court battles and then ignoring the court's orders on some of the things she's doing as far as the as far as her what do I want to call it? Just her authoritarian nature. She's pretty amazing. But anyway, thank you, Circus Zero. I appreciate the support. If you'd like to support the show in that sort of way, you can do through Super Chats and or Streamlabs, which pops up in the chat every once in a while. Thank you for those who are able to sponsor the show. Let's see. This one's interesting. Oh, by the way, can I get it? FTG for Erica Joy. FTG Erica Joy. She's just a joy to work with, I gotta tell you. Anyway, all right. Becerra, the wife of Joe Biden's top healthcare nominee, sits on the board of a medical advocacy group, which, here, hang on, let me move this over, which promoted her husband's nomination without disclosing her position. So she's on the board. Carolina Reyes, the wife of California Attorney General and nominee to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Xavier Becerra, joined the board of directors of the California Healthcare Foundation in 2017, shortly after Barrera's transition from the House of Representatives to the California Attorney General's office. The foundation is a nonprofit with the stated mission of improving the healthcare system for Californians with low income and those whose needs are not well served by the status quo. The foundation stands to benefit from a Department of Health and Human Services charged with expanding the Affordable Care Act's healthcare policy. Individuals associated with the nonprofit increased their political donations significantly in 2020, contributing nearly $52,000 to Democrat candidates. The foundation has pushed several articles touting the benefits of the act and described the consequences of potentially overturning the law as severe. A news service run by the nonprofit also published an article in December promoting Becerra's nomination without disclosing that Reyes' position, or without her disclosing her position on their board of directors. So, little conflict of interest, never hurt anybody. Anyway, quote, President-elect Joe Biden has tapped California Attorney General Xavier Becerra to lead the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The article said Becerra, who would be the nation's first Latino HHS secretary, has taken some groundbreaking positions on healthcare, especially since he became Attorney General in 2017. And they're touting the fact that he's sued the Trump administration dozens of times on healthcare, birth control, immigration, climate change, and more, with California leading the defense of the Affordable Care Act before the U.S. Supreme Court. It continued, Becerra has also won a major legal settlement from Sutter Health after accusing the nonprofit healthcare giant of using its market dominance in Northern California to illegally drive up prices. The foundation did not respond to a request for comment. The organization announced that Reyes joined the board in May 2017. The press release mentioned Reyes' marriage to Becerra, who at the time had just become California's Attorney General. She collected $30,000 from the organization in the 2018 fiscal year, according to the group's most recent IRS filings. So, I don't know. I'm not going to go full FTG on that, but it's still one of those things that well, yes, I will. FTG. Who gets the FTG in this article? Let's go with the FTG to the CHF. What is it? California Healthcare Foundation, which is not an official group. It's a lobbying group. What the hell did I do there? FTG. What is it? CHCF. There you go. There's the FTG. All right. Moving on. We were talking about that. We talked about this a while ago. The election in Iowa that was really close, right? And but they went and hand counted all the ballots. And the Republican congressperson won by, it was like a handful of votes. They've recounted it more than once. Well, the House Democrats are going to try to overturn that. Now, I thought that it was just not patriotic to try to overturn an election, but Democrats have accused Republicans of refusing to accept the 2020 election, but they may be about to do just that in Iowa's 2nd Congressional District, where Representative Mariannette Miller Meeks, a Republican, defeated Democrat Rita Hart by 6 votes. And they've recounted this over and over and over. As Breitbart News has reported, Democrat election lawyer Mark Elias, who helped fund the fraudulent Russian dossier and led efforts to overturn voting rules in 2020, is representing Hart and asking the House to overturn the Iowa results. Wait, 8 years? What's going to be a long 8 years? What are you talking about? Biden's not going to be in office. He's not even going to run again. Biden's not going to make it through his first term. I guarantee. 2 years at best. They've already been researching the 25th Amendment, and he's about to qualify for it. Anyway, Elias represented another defeated Democrat in New York's 22nd Congressional District, where he claims that there were irregularities with the voting machines. I thought you weren't allowed to question the voting machines. Good Lord. Anyway, claims that when made by Republicans lead to their expulsion from social media. Miller Meeks filed a motion with the United States House Committee on House Administration to dismiss Hart's claim, which was filed under the Federal Contested Elections Act. The committee rejected Miller Meeks' motion Wednesday on party lines. They're going to cheat somewhat out of an election. The Des Moines Register reported the margin separated the two candidates was only 6 votes out of almost 400 cast, less than 1/6 of 1%. That's 6 votes, not 6,600, not 60, or even 16. Just 6 fewer votes than we have members of this committee. Chair Zoe Lofgren, Democrat of California, told committee members, "It should not be surprising that any candidate in these circumstances with a margin this close would seek to exercise their rights under the law to contest those results." Absolutely. That's fair. But remember, this has been hand recounted several times already in Iowa. Anyway, the committee's ranking member, Rodney Davis, Republican Illinois, pointed out that Miller Meeks' election included a recount of bipartisan canvassing of the ballots cast in the race and had an option to appeal those results through their state's court system, a step Hart chose not to utilize because that's where it should be adjudicated, in the local courts, but they're bringing it to the Democratic Congress where they have an advantage. It would be one of the greatest mistakes this House makes to take up an election contest with a candidate who sidestepped the courts and instead turned to a partisan process in the House because they knew they could not win it any other way, Davis said. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The last time the House voted to overturn an election in a contested election was in 1985, also replacing a Republican with a Democrat. Jeffrey Skelly of 538.com noted recently the Republicans staged a walkout in response to the entire episode, and is often cited as an inflection point in creating a more partisan and rancorous atmosphere in Washington. So anyway, it'd be interesting if they actually do overturn that election. I think that would be bad form, but they don't care. They don't care anyway. I gotta stop looking at the chat because some of the stuff you write, Mike, is hilarious. Hilarious. Why on God's green earth would Stacey Abrams be your dream ticket? Oh my God. She lost in her own state by 50,000 votes. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. We all know that she's the real winner in Georgia. 50,000 votes she lost by in Georgia. Oh no, they cheated. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were supposed to be able to contest elections. Never mind. All right, moving on. Joe. Slow-mo Sundowner Joe. Curious, is Joe up for tough questions? I don't know why. Now, we've been talking about how Joe Biden hasn't done a press conference yet. I believe it's 50 days now into his presidency without doing a press conference, and that's by far a record for the last 15 presidents, correct? Bad mic. What? Bad mic? What about my mic? Did my voice just sound different now all of a sudden? Anyway, and but for whatever reason, nobody can seem to find him funny. I just can't. I don't get it. Anyway, for some reason, comedians are struggling to parody Joe Biden, according to the Washington Post. The reason has nothing to do with liberal bias. Is it that Biden is so self-effacing and his pleasantly boring presidency has been a welcome return to normalcy or normality? That's one way to look at the rapidly accumulating crisis that's besetting the nation, especially on the southern border. More likely, comics are at a loss because the president is already a walking, talking parody of himself, with embarrassing gaffes and senior moments piling up, despite the best efforts of his handlers to keep him out of sight. Now that he is president, Biden's befuddlement and opaque nature of the White House decision-making is making voters nervous. Readers are writing in to ask who the hell is running the joint. Well, it's certainly not that guy at that joint over there. Joe couldn't remember his name and the name of the Pentagon. But anyway, Upper West Sider Jake Cummings is one reader who has no problem seeing the dark humor in a bleak situation. Hey, did you see Biden in a hardware store the other day, he writes? The owner asked, could I help you? And Biden said, yes, I have a loose screw. Oh, I get that was a joke. Yeah, Saturday night could give him a job. Anyway, kidding aside, America's waking up to what anyone paying attention during the election campaign knew was Biden's biggest problem: the taboo topic of his cognitive fade-outs. Whatever the cause, the pandemic gave him cover, but now that vaccines are kicking in and the herd immunity is on the horizon, the oldest president in history soon will have nowhere to hide. Already voters have picked up that something is not quite right at the White House. More than 6 weeks since his inauguration, Biden has not held a press conference or the customary first year address to a joint session of Congress. And a Rasmussen poll this week shows that more than half of voters are worried about his ability to do the job. Only 34% of voters are very confident that Biden is physically and mentally able to do the job as president, while 14% are somewhat confident. Fully 1/3 of Democrats are at least somewhat concerned that Biden has not yet held a press conference, as are 56% of independents. Whatever his handlers are hiding, even his trusty teleprompter can't fill the gaps. At the podium this week to announce 2 new women generals, Biden forgot the name of his Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, as well as the name of the building where Austin works, a.k.a. the Pentagon. I want to thank the former general, the guy who runs that outfit over there. Time for a new loader on the teleprompter. On the rare occasion an unscripted comment slips out, it is off key, like when he told a group of NASA engineers that Indian Americans are taking over the country. In recent days, he lost track mid-speech and he blurted out, "What am I doing here?" He told People magazine that he is confused each day when he wakes up in the White House. I wake up every morning, look at Jill, and I say, "Where the hell are we?" Well, I think that was more rhetorical than anything. If his wife isn't by his side answering policy questions on his behalf, it's Vice President Kamala Harris hovering nearby. Unusually, she has stood in for Biden on 6 solo phone calls with foreign leaders. In a rare outing this week to the D.C. hardware store to which Cummings was referring, reporters yelled questions to the president about the border crisis before his wranglers shooed him away. Biden avoided the hairy topic by looking blank. Well, that's kind of normal for him right these days. But it's not good enough. America needs to know who is making the decisions at the White House. If it's really Biden, then let him off the leash and explain if there's a method to the madness. It matters who's in charge because the Biden administration is enacting radical nation-changing at breakneck speed. Someone needs to be accountable. People voted for Biden because they believed he was a moderate who would fulfill his campaign promises to unify and heal the fractured nation. That is the opposite of what his presidency has delivered. Nowhere is the contrast between the promise and reality starker than at the southern border, now a self-inflicted humanitarian national security public health disaster. From day one, Biden signed a flurry of executive orders to dismantle the hard-won Trump-era border protections that slowed illegal border crossings to a trickle. The result was an inevitable magnet of the tens of thousands of illegal immigrants flocking to the border, some wearing Biden t-shirts. I wonder who printed those. Only 1 in 3 is intercepted, according to Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. An estimated 6% have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, this is the one I don't get. I'm just going to give you a FTG Joe right now for this one. So, we have all these restrictions on the pandemic and the Neanderthal thinking of the Texas and Mississippi governor, but not the Connecticut governor because, well, you know, politics. But the fact that just the other day they had 180 positive cases of COVID-19 of the whatever you'd like to call them, I say illegal immigrants, who've crossed our border. And rather than finding some way to quarantine them or isolate them, they just let them go on their own accord. Why? Anybody? Mike, you got an answer for that one, Mike? You seem to know what's going on in that mindset. Explain to me, why would they let 180 COVID positive illegal immigrants just disperse them into the country when apparently opening the state of Texas is Neanderthal thinking? Which is more Neanderthal thinking? Just curious. Maybe you have an answer for that one. Biden has handed people smugglers a lucrative incentive to prey on vulnerable children. Already 3,250 migrant children are being housed in hastily constructed tent cities in Texas. I guess tents are better than the cages they built the first time. Just saying. They reportedly are arriving in triple the rate of 2 weeks ago, and yet Biden's immigration spokesman refused to take responsibility. They blame Trump, hurricanes, and the pandemic for the post-election surge, if anything, the pull factor of Biden's open border message. No. That was reported on ABC. Anyway, this is a full-blown disaster that they've created. Patrick told Fox News Wednesday, there's no end in sight to these people who are coming over the border. We are taking millions. President Biden is doing nothing more than a prop of the left. He has no idea what's going on down there. If that's true, Biden needs to prove it and fast. Yeah, how about that press conference? And don't tell me he's too busy saving the country. Nah, I recall they had a nice little feature of him playing Mario Kart with his grandchildren. He had time to do that. And also, all these times that he's had the opportunity to answer questions after events, for example, the hardware store when they, I might have some time to take questions. They started yelling questions, and the handler's like, "Shoo, reporter, shoo, no questions." At the end of the DNC event, where he said, "Hey, this would be a good time to take questions? If that's what you want me to do?" Feed cut. I was watching that one live. Why isn't he having questions? The president's no shit, he's having this will be fun too. Yes, he is having a speech tonight, isn't he? That's going to be fun. We're going to see if it's live or if he recorded it. I'm going to guess that speech is not going to be live. They're going to tell you it's live, but I almost guarantee it's not. But we'll see. Primetime speech. We'll see. I've already talked about that. That was my prediction. You mean at primetime, read the teleprompter. We'll see if it's live, we'll see if he gets through it. It'll be fascinating. It'll be fascinating. Anyway. And then, all right, there we go. Moving on. That's already did that one. the hell happened here? Oh, I opened that one twice. All right. Now we have another new cabinet, couple new cabinet secretaries to talk about. This first one, racial conspiracy theorist, has been confirmed as the HUD secretary, and that's not even the worst part. Representative Marcia Fudge. Now, I don't know if you remember Marcia Fudge, but okay, Mike, here's one thing you don't do in my chat. We will try to be respectful of you, but I expect you to be respectful of the people in my chat. So you start calling people names, I will ban you myself or put you in a timeout at least. You're welcome here to disagree, but we don't call people's names here. We try not to. And if anyone calls you names, I would ask you, people in my chat, don't do that shit to him either. Okay? Be respectful or don't be here. Okay? Marcia Fudge. If you don't know Marcia Fudge. Hello, Ryan himself. Nice to see you here, by the way. Enjoy Biden for 2 years. Exactly. Her nomination was controversial even before it was officially announced. In 2015, she pleaded for leniency for Lance Mason, the former Ohio legislator who had beaten his then wife in front of their children. Mason got out of jail after serving 9 months and later murdered his ex-wife in 2018. In 2019, on the floor of the House of Representatives, Fudge read a letter from a constituent who called Donald Trump supporters racist and dumb. Well, that's about the only words they know, so there you go. Quote, it's glaringly apparent that many who support the present administration are either racist or steeped in religious beliefs, ignorant, or as my mother used to say, just plain dumb, Fudge read. They have chosen to support a president who has a proven record of being sexually condescending to women, will not oppose the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan and other hate organizations, is indecisive, condescending to anyone who challenges him, and hides behind his Twitter account rather than dealing with real issues in our country and around the world. To put icing on the cake, he's a proven liar. Well, there you go. That's a great letter. Yeah, I oppose the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, that's not happening there, Marcia. Anyway, her actions received bipartisan criticism. Now, and Fudge is also a racial conspiracy theorist with a history of spouting wacko ideas. In April 2020, she made the ridiculous claim during a Biden campaign live stream rally that the COVID-19 pandemic proves that America is systemically racist. Black people have always been aware of systemic and institutional racism. COVID-19 just proved to the rest of the country that it exists, she said. If we do not elect Joe Biden, we will not recover in my lifetime. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. Really? Really? Vaccines. The worst thing about her confirmation is that Fudge, a radical race-baiting conspiracist, was confirmed 66-34. Real quick, thank you, Gamer Valine, for the 556. He keeps saying your audience is dumb while repeating talking points distributed en masse without details. He's at the point of he is regressing in intelligence. Well, I wouldn't say regressing. I think he was already stuck there, but that's okay. I'm not going to be any more disparaging to him than he is to my audience. He's a dumb fuck. Hello, Infamous One, by the way. Thank you, Gamer Villian. Greatly appreciated for supporting the channel with your sponsorship through the Streamlabs link, which is in the description down below and often in the chat. Yes. What is my line on that? This show is sponsored by viewers like you. Support the show with your donations and have your super chats read live on the show. Anyway, thank you, Gamer Villian. 16 Republicans voted for this. Well, they say their word is wacko. And there's more to her crazy conspiracy theories. She also claimed that the Trump administration was purposefully opening up businesses targeting lower-income America to get black people to spend their COVID relief checks. Quote, they open the beauty salons and barbershops and the bowling alleys and movie theaters. When they start opening up the country clubs and the tanning spas, then I'm going to go to one, she claimed. Because they're just opening up things black people go to because they know we've got these checks and they want us to spend them. They don't care about our safety. That's why when they start opening up things up, they go to, or when they start opening things up, they go to, then I'll understand it's time to start opening up some things for us. Okay. FTG, what is her name again? Marsha Fudge. Because that is some blue anon right there. That is some blue anon conspiracy theory right there. Holy shit. Okay, Gamer Bleen, yes, I know you hear when I whisper with earbuds. I know you heard me. That's funny. Anyway, she's insane. This woman is insane. Kamala Harris, who was also on the live stream, nodded in agreement and said, "That's right. That's right, girl. Hello, you ridiculous one." In the wake of the death of George Floyd last spring, Fudge also seemed. Oh my gosh, sorry. that was weird. She seemed to encourage the violence and rioting that resulted. Quote, "George Floyd's murder just brought to the surface generations of pain," Fudge said during a virtual town hall hosted by the NAACP. "We have to make sure we strike when the iron is hot." Great. Yes, she got 16 Republicans to support her confirmation. Excuse me? Senator Pat Toomey was one of her vocal critics. The confirmation of the cabinet secretaries is one of the most important constitutional functions that we have in the Senate, Toomey said on Wednesday. He argued that cabinet secretaries must be able to work productively with Congress, but said he is concerned that Representative Fudge's past rhetoric makes it clear that she lacks the temperament to cooperate with Congress, and cast doubt on whether she even wants to. Toomey also called out her pattern of attacking and disparaging the motives of Republicans with whom she has policy disagreements. If someone like Fudge can be confirmed 66-34, then what kind of radical will Republicans put up? The same woman who pleaded for leniency for a domestic abuser said Republicans disgrace the nation. Hey, I got an FTG right now too. FTG Senate Republicans for going along with some of this bullshit. I can't even spell it. Republicans with a double S. FTG to them too. What good are they? In fact, the next article, Senate Republicans are failing us big time. An editorial by Matt Margolis, which I tend to agree with too. The Democratic Party stood virtually united, resisting Trump for 4 years. Their stalwart opposition was ruthless and unwavering, and the Senate Republicans are a bunch of pussies. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. It has been my hope that if there was any lasting legacy of Trump and the Republican Party, it would be that he taught them not to just walk away from a fight, but actually fight back. Yet again, I find myself disappointed. On Wednesday, the Senate confirmed racial conspiracy theorist Martha Fudge as HUD Secretary and Merrick Garland as Attorney General. Fudge was confirmed 66-34, Garland 70-30. How did Fudge get 16 Republicans to vote for her confirmation, and how did Garland get 20? Rest assured, I'm not calling for blanket opposition to Biden nominees. That is not a good strategy, but fighting the nominations of exceptionally bad nominees should be an easy thing for the GOP to unify and rally behind, yet they're not. Thank God Merrick Garland's not in the Supreme Court. Let's review the case against Garland. Garland refused to commit to protecting Special Counsel John Durham's investigation into the Obama-Biden administration's spying on the Trump campaign or to release the report to the public. He has also refused to call Antifa's attack on federal buildings domestic terrorism and evaded questions on how he would enforce immigration policy, amongst many other things. In fact, He routinely evaded questions from Senate Republicans during his confirmation hearings and repeatedly claimed that he was unaware of the situation cited by Republicans in their questioning. Whether you actually believed he was ignorant of current events or just didn't want to answer, it was unfathomable that anyone so ignorant or cagey could be confirmed by the United States Senate, let alone in a bipartisan vote. As for Fudge, well, we just got done talking about her. But there shouldn't have been one single Republican vote for either of these nominees. Sure, unified opposition may not have prevented either from getting confirmed when Kamala Harris can simply break a 50-50 tie, but the message sent to the American people when nominees like this are confirmed with significant bipartisan support is that there are good candidates who represent the mainstream of America. Oh, sure, Neera Tandem's nomination went down in flames, but that's not the point. Her nomination was doomed because not enough Democrats were going to support her, not because of Republican opposition that made her too toxic to be confirmed. Is this really that difficult for Republicans to understand? As recently noted, if Biden's controversial picks can be confirmed with bipartisan majority, then Republicans are enabling the perception that Democratic nominees are more mainstream than Republican nominees. Confirmation of Biden's nominees, no matter how crazy they are, may be inevitable, but that doesn't mean these radicals should get the consent of the Republicans in the Senate. Exactly. Let's finish up here. Oh, Sheila Jackson Lee is back. Apparently Sheila Jackson Lee has an opinion. Quote, Texans who go maskless face the wait a minute. Let me do this appropriately. The destiny of death. Okay. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat of Texas, on Wednesday declared Texans who do not wear masks during the coronavirus pandemic face a destiny of death. Fascinating. Do not have a remove mask party tonight because you will be walking into a destiny of death, Jackson Lee said during a speech on the House of Representatives floor. In fact, here she is.
Do not have a remove mask party tonight because you will be walking into a destiny of death. Do not have a remove mask party tonight because you will be walking into a destiny of death.
Jackson Lee's warning coincides with Texas lifting its mandatory mask restrictions across the state. Texas Governor Greg Abbott announced around a week ago that he would be lifting the order, saying Texans have mastered the daily habits to avoid getting COVID. Make no mistake, COVID has not suddenly disappeared. COVID still exists in Texas, in the United States, and across the globe. But it is clear from the recoveries and the vaccinations, the reduced hospitalizations and safe practices that Texans are using, that state mandates are no longer needed, the governor added at the time. Montana, Mississippi, and Iowa have all scrapped their mask mandates, with Utah expected to follow in April. They forgot Connecticut. Earlier Wednesday, the White House chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, voiced his concerns about states relaxing pandemic rules, arguing, we don't want to see another surge, and that's inviting one when you do that. Excuse me, I'm typing here. I'm typing. FTG, Dr. Anthony Fauci. We understand people need to get back to normal, and we're going in that direction. But when you start doing things like completely putting aside all public health measures as if you're turning on a light switch, swipe switch off, it's quite risky. FTG, whatever. Yeah, well, you've been wrong more than once, doctor, and whatever. And FTG, Sheila Jackson Lee. Speaking of Fauci, we'll finish up with this one today after I get rid of Ace here. Fauci admits science doesn't drive all of the CDC's decision. Really? We hadn't noticed at all. Anthony Fauci, one of President Joe Biden's top COVID-19 advisors, by the way, he was Donald Trump's top COVID-19 advisor, unfortunately, admitted that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention does not always rely on scientific data and evidence to inform its coronavirus mitigation guidelines. No shit, Sherlock. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, with the super chat through YouTube, who says, some counties in Montana still have mandates. Well, local control. I don't know. That's still, I don't know why. Anyway, Fauci conceded the fact on Wednesday after a CNN anchor pressed him. A CNN anchor? A CNN anchor asked a tough question? Good Lord. After a CNN anchor pressed him on why the Biden administration and public health organizations are still advising people who have received 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine not to travel. They're being careful, understandably. They want to get science. They want to get data. And when you don't have the data and you don't have the actual evidence, then you've got to make a judgment call, Fauci explained. Here he is. Let's see. Let's hear it from him.
From the Biden administration that they say it will make its decisions based on science. What's the science behind not saying it's safe for people who have been vaccinated, received 2 doses, to travel?
Well,
that's a very good question, John. And the CDC is carefully heading in that direction. When Dr. Walensky made the announcement a day or 2 ago about the fact that when you have a couple of people, 2 or 3 or more people in a family setting, both of whom are vaccinated, even if it's someone from a friend that doesn't have to be a member of the family, that was the first in a multi-step process that they are going to be rolling out. They're being careful, understandably. They want to get science. They want to get data. And then when you don't have the data and you don't have the actual evidence, then you've got to make a judgment call.
Oh, so they just make a judgment call. I get it. Yeah, he's said that. I've heard him say that before when he even was saying that, sometimes you just have to make an educated guess. I'm like, oh, my God.
And I think that's what you're going to be seeing in the next weeks. You're going to see little by little more and more guidelines getting people to be more and more flexible. The first installation of this is what can vaccinated people do in the home setting. Obviously, the next one is going to be what you're asking. What about travel? What about going out? What about getting a haircut? What about doing things like that? That's all imminently going to be coming out.
Oh, no, it's fascinating, though. Look at Fauci's hair there. He's got a pretty good hair game going there. Almost looks like he got a professional haircut there. I wonder how that happened. He must have went to Texas where they allow you to get a professional haircut, because he's not in New York. He's not doing it in New York where you got a professional haircut. And sometimes you just have to, you have to make a judgment call and just, we'll see what happens. But, you're going little by little more by the guidelines, getting people to be more and more flexible, so it's a multi-step process that, when you don't have necessarily the data or the science, you just got to make a judgment call. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, look, I shied Dr. Fauci quite often, but sometimes he comes in with valuable information, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, gotta tell you, it's been quite a day of the FTGs, but I'm going to stay there. If you got a little FTG for the little FTG, that little ace hole gooba gaba, that little ace gooba gaba. Okay. Yes, we do know all the rules only apply to us peons. Tyler F., you are exactly right. And he called HCQ a cure, then bashed it and cost thousands of lives. Well, you realize he was one of the authors of a study in 2006 on hydrochloroquine as a prophylactic against SARS-V1 or whatever, the one when they had the SARS epidemic, the last coronavirus epidemic that never made it to the U.S. It stayed in Asia for the most part. But he was one of the writers of the paper that was touting the use of chloroquine as a prophylactic against that. So that's fascinating. So anyway, we suspected like a wait, what? Like a what? By the way, say hello now what? That's my friend Wu in lives back in the Twin Cities again. Anyway, also Hypnagogic Monk, I didn't see you drop in today. Good morning, and but it's time for me to call it a day, gang. I greatly appreciate you all being here. I don't we're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. You know all that. I know what I was going to say. Before you even do anything, before I pretend I'm going to stop the show, just forget that I said the show's about to be over, even though it is. Before you do anything, before you click anything, there's that button down there, that like button. Hit the like button, okay? If you're watching on a replay, throw a comment in the comment section. You can tell me which. In fact, in the comment section, if you're watching the replay, tell me which governor do you think is going to go down first, and then why? Okay, that's the question of the day still, because that's the question that the name of the stream is. Who's out first? And if you have an elaborate answer, go ahead and put that in the discussion too. Also, I always forget to remind people, but if you're not on the Discord server, you can join the Discord server. There's always a lot of news item there. In fact, I think Gunfox just told me there's a big news drop there, which I will be checking out like I do often. And but hit the like button, share the stream, share the replay, whichever you're doing right now. And look forward to some additional content, new things, and some stuff that we are working on. I'm looking forward to doing that. Oh, hello, Luna. I didn't see you here either. I didn't even know you were here. So anyway, and that's all for today, gang. I hope you had a great Thursday. Again, if there's a couple things happening tonight, okay? One, obviously, Joe Biden's going to be giving his televised address to the nation about coronavirus. I also kind of wonder how long that address is going to be. Is it going to be... Okay, here's another thing you can throw in the chat right now, since I got a minute or two before I have to leave. How long do you think that this address will be? Be 5 minutes? 7 minutes? 15 minutes? 30 minutes? Or more? Or just put any number you want in the chat. I'm guessing it's going to be less than 7 minutes long. And I almost guarantee if it's longer than that, it's not live. It's pre-recorded. Because I don't think he can do a live address for more than 7 minutes. Did you ever notice during his campaign speeches, they were all 10 minutes or less? They were short, sweet, and out of there. He did not give long campaign speeches. The only thing I didn't see the inaugural address. But I really do think it's going to be short and not live. Anyway, all right, time to go. Thanks everyone for being here. Again, like, share. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. And if you want to support the show in other ways, you can check the description down below. It tells you how to do that. But it is time for me to end the show. Gotta go. My name is Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Later. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.